All right, everybody, welcome to another episode of The Blind View here on Rumble. This is the first week of November. And here is our host, Miss Rebecca Meadows.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us this evening for another exciting episode of The Blind View right here on Becca's World on the Rumble platform and streaming out to other places as well. How is everybody?
Great.
Well, hi everyone.
Doing all right. Hanging in here. This is Brandon Miller.
Yeah. So, does anybody have any burning topics that they want to start with, or can I go start with my topic?
You can start
Go
with me
ahead.
first.
Yeah, go ahead and start. You're the host.
Okay,
We'll pretend like it's your show.
I want to talk about the results of the New York City mayoral race yesterday and the ramifications thereof. Zoran Mondani was elected mayor of New York City.
Yes.
Zoran was born somewhere other than here. I don't remember where he was born. It's not really relevant, I think, where he's born.
I think it's quite relevant that he's not from here. Uganda, that is.
Yeah, Uganda. Well, it is relevant in that he'll never be able to run for president because he wasn't born here. Thank God for that.
No, but I'm saying it is relevant to the situation that makes it even worse. That not only he was not born here, I mean, he came here just a few years ago, and of course, he's a communist socialist and brought all his communist ideas to New York. So it's like it's going to be some pretty bad news for New York.
Yeah, it doesn't.
But you know what? I mean, so I'll stay on this topic, but I'll just say more broadly, I was disappointed yesterday because New Jersey, Virginia, and New York City, that's the city, but the states of New Jersey and Virginia went Democratic, and New York City, they went socialist, literally. Democratic socialist. But I mean, never before in this country have we had a socialist form of government, even at the city level, to the best of my knowledge. And I just want to say to you New Yorkers, don't complain. Don't complain to me because you guys voted him in.
I think we have in the past had leaders with socialist leanings. I think it's that we've just never had one who is so boldly outspoken about being a socialist.
Correct.
You know what I mean? Like when he's wearing his socialism proudly on his sleeve the way Zoran Mondani is doing, it just kind of makes it more in your face, you know?
That's true. It does. But Zoran Mondani is not a Democrat. He is a socialist.
Socialist, yeah.
And I agree with you that we might have had certain participants in our political structure that have had socialist leanings, but they've at least, kind of cloaked it as I'm running on the Democratic ticket. He's not even doing that. And I think New Yorkers are going to rue the day when they made that silly, misguided decision.
I agree with you.
No, I mean, just because they put the word democratic before socialist, it doesn't change the damn thing. It doesn't change the damn thing. And it's just a disaster. And that's you guys. This is the prime example of our public. This is the result of our public education. That's how bad we've gone. That's how bad, because people have no clue. I mean, would you think like in a million years, like even 10 years ago, maybe 20 years ago, that America would be electing socialists? And now it's like almost a normal thing.
The socialists the last 3 decades have been becoming a lot more outspoken, and a lot more comfortable coming out and saying, yeah, I'm a socialist. What do you want to make of it? You know what I mean?
Because that's what I'm saying. They're being taught that socialism is good. That's a problem. So sorry, Paul, go ahead.
I will say on this topic, and probably the only thing I'll say on this topic is that I took a sociology class when I was in high school, and this would have been, I don't want to date myself, but this was a little over a decade ago. And the teacher was definitely very, more on one side than the other. And we had 18 people
Let me guess what side.
We had 18 people in the class, and one of the questions that she posed was, uh, one of the questions that she posted, or one of the questions that she posed was when she gave us kind of the gist on socialism and capitalism, which I would say that she focused a lot more on socialism than capitalism. Out of the 18 people in the class, there was only two people uh, that did not choose capitalism and thought that socialism was the better way. So there was two people out of the whole class who did not agree with socialism, and one of the people, everyone else did. So 16 out of 18 thought that socialism was a better way to live than capitalism. And what I will say is out of the two people that thought capitalism was better, it was really only one person, because the person who raised their hand and didn't answer whether socialism was better or not didn't understand the question.
Okay.
Well,
Yeah.
and that's because socialism, when described in a certain way, sounds better. But the practical and pragmatic and realistic, tangible results of it have always been something that I cannot imagine any, American familiar with this culture ever wanting.
Yeah, and maybe I didn't explain well enough what I was saying, but yeah, 16 out of 18 thought socialism was better, and one person thought capitalism was better, and one person didn't understand the question. So,
Yeah.
to me, to Anya's kind of question whether this is something that we would we ever think that we would see this, this was only a few years back, and here
Well,
we are now, and so we are definitely seeing it.
I have to point out that I have to say that I don't think there was just one person who didn't understand what socialism was. I think all 18 of them didn't understand what socialism was. Every one of them who voted in favor of it obviously don't understand what socialism is.
Yeah,
You
you're
know what
right.
I mean?
And,
Like,
and that's because it was described the way that Zora Mamdani described it.
yeah,
Mm.
yeah,
Yeah, people don't think beyond what they hear.
yeah,
When they hear, oh, you're gonna have free childcare, you're gonna have free buses, and you're gonna have city-sponsored grocery store with reduced prices. That all sounds marvelous, but that's where because
should
people
we,
don't
hey
learn.
guys,
Yeah,
so when is Mondami sworn in as, when does he take his mayoral seat? Does anybody know?
January.
That's what I thought. So I think we should make guesstimates of how long we think it's going to take before all hell breaks loose in New York City. I bet it's going to take less than a quarter of the year, 3 months. So I bet like by the end of March, shit's going to start hitting
I
the
bet
fan in
it'll
New
take
York.
about half a year, maybe even 3/4.
You think so?
I think it's already bad enough. It's already bad enough in New York
I
City.
know. Good
So
point.
I don't know. The choices were terrible. Absolutely failed governor, former
Yeah,
governor Como, with this
yeah,
nursing home scandal and
yeah.
how he overall handled
I
COVID.
know.
Terrific. So, um, and people just didn't know what to do.
And
But I still would have
there
voted
was
for him.
and there was that guy that was running on the Republican ticket. God, was his name?
Saliva or something.
Sleep, yeah, something like that. Like, gosh, I barely heard his name. Of course, I'm not in New York, but I've been trying to follow the race, and I barely heard his name. So it's no wonder he didn't have a chance.
True.
Yeah,
But
there is a notion out there floating around that, oh, you guys said hyperbole, like when there's a frog and like boiling frog. So when
yeah,
things are happening, you don't notice until it's really hot and just
yeah,
water. Yeah, yeah. So they say, well, maybe that's what New York needs. They need like a restart. They need like the frog gets boiled too fast, so the shit starts hitting the fan too fast. Like, whoa,
yeah.
wait, what did we do? Sounds good, but I don't think that's the case. I think people are so stupid. Yes, I'm gonna be mean today. People are so incredibly stupid out there and uneducated. They just won't put two and two together. I mean, look at Venezuela. Same thing. People were dirty as
Mhm.
poor, and they kept voting people who were making them poor, and they didn't learn their lessons. They were eating out of trash cans, but they still voted for voted in socialism.
Jeez, that's ridiculous.
I
And
know. It is ridiculous. It's
Okay.
sad.
Are Brandon and Paul with us still?
Yeah,
Yeah, I have.
Did I hear Brandon too?
Or did he mute?
Yeah, no, I'm
I-
still there.
oh, okay. Um, yeah, those are all valid points.
Yeah.
Well, and I think again, I think it's
Can I ask a question? Yeah, guys, I want to do a vote right here and find out how many of us vote regularly here on the panel. If you vote regularly, like in your presidential and your gubernatorial and senator races and like stuff like that, can you say aye?
I
oh,
I.
I certainly do.
I.
Aye. Yeah.
sounds like everybody. Well,
Yeah,
I
that does
started
sound like
voted
everybody.
since I became a citizen. Become a citizen, I vote every single time.
I
And how
just
long?
voted in our November 4th local election yesterday.
I
Anya,
did too.
I
What was
voted
it
last
like
week.
voting your first time?
Oh, just a regular. I mean, I had voted in Ukraine when I was there. I was old enough to vote before I left the country. So,
Can you
but
tell us what it was like becoming a citizen?
you mean like what exactly do you want me to say? Like about the
Well,
process,
yeah,
or?
can you explain the process to our viewers about becoming a citizen? Because many people were born here and have never don't know what immigrants go through, what the process is.
Well, if you want to be a legal immigrant, it is a complicated process. So I didn't walk through the back door and
Mm.
snuck around. I just did what I was supposed to do. Applied for a
Aren't you glad you did it the right way though?
exactly. Of course I am. Yeah, so I got my citizenship through marriage. Um, but yeah, I had to apply for a green card and wait for some time and have an interview and provide a bunch of documentation, bunch of pictures, and we had an interview after we got married. So yeah, it was a long process and very costly process. We had to pay a lot of money to the lawyers.
Hmm.
Um, we had to pay a lot of government fees. Yeah, it's not cheap. So um but yeah, I was happy to.
Um.
My first election to vote was the local election, and then second one was when I voted for Donald Trump, so presidential.
Anya, pardon me. About how much do you think it costs to become a citizen?
Well, I don't know right now because I became a citizen in 2022, I think, or three, one of those.
And
um
you said it was several. You said it was several $100s.
oh please, it was thousands of dollars.
Oh
Oh,
wow.
do you
Well,
want to make an estimate of how much it was? You
I
think?
think the whole thing cost us about 10 grand, maybe a little more.
Oh
Wow.
my.
Oh wow.
That
Can you
is.
tell us all if well I have a two-part question. So A, is it true if you know, is it true that the distance away from the country of America that a person is moving from or immigrating from makes a difference? And if so, why is that? I mean, in other words, is it just because? I mean, but because in other words, like I don't know if they make you travel via a certain mode of transportation from Ukraine. In other words, they might say you have to travel by boat, or you have to travel by plane, or you know what I mean? Like, why does it cost so much?
Well, why does it cost so much? For one thing, it costs because you have to pay the lawyers. And again, this is a little bit different because I was going for a green card through marriage, right? Like I mentioned. But right now, because they are working really hard on the replacement, they're trying to bring as many people from the poorest countries of the world to the United States to get electorate, like so they can get Democrat votes. Everybody knows that. So they facilitated, like there are so many private organizations and law firms that take cases for free. I didn't get anything for free. I probably wouldn't qualify, and I didn't seek it. but people who just come and say, like, who want to get asylum or something, so they get help through IRC, International Rescue Committee, or Catholic Charities. Oh gosh, there are a bunch of organizations like that. But yeah, so most of the cost was to the lawyer, and also governmental fee. Like you have $200, $500, $300, various documents you submit.
That I have to tell you, that is such a ripoff, and it
It
makes me angry
is.
that they made you guys do that. My ex-husband and I, when I lived in Montana, we helped a young man become a citizen of the United States. We sponsored him. His name is Zohair Bajwa. He's from Lahore, Pakistan, and he was a student at the University of Missoula where my ex-husband was working. That's how we met Zohair. And he was able to come here and be a student because back in Lahore, his dad owned a gas station, and so they had quite a bit of money. So his dad was able to pay for him to come over here to go to school. And while Zohair was here, he decided he wanted to become a citizen, and he asked my ex-husband and I if we would sponsor him. And it was a different process than what you went through. We didn't have to pay any money, but like I read through all the paperwork. Like, if in order to be eligible to sponsor him, we had to have a certain income, and we had to promise that if Zohair became unable to care for himself, that we would support him so he would not become a burden on the taxpayers. And we had to
That's
promise that we would
interesting.
do that for like 8 years or something like that. And my husband and I, we were willing to do that, and so we did that. And Zohair became a citizen and was friends. I'm sure we're still friends. I just haven't seen Zohair because I left my husband like 10 years ago now. But Zohair was friends of ours for many years, and he met this beautiful young woman named Megan here in America, and they got married.
Cool.
And Zohair is a total American. He came here and established a life and learned the language and assimilated and fell in love and married a beautiful young girl, and he's got like friends and stuff here in America. He's
That's
a typical
amazing.
American now.
It's great.
That's wonderful. Can I say something?
Sure.
I'm glad that he learned the language because twice today I've had two people that cannot speak the language. They can only speak Spanish. One was the person that came to do the tile or the vinyl in my bedroom, and I had to call a friend of mine in order to have her translate back and forth because, of course, I can't speak Spanish. The second time was when I had a delivery today, and the delivery person didn't speak English. Fortunately, that wasn't as difficult because he was just delivering something. But twice a day, they did not speak the English language.
Yeah, it's becoming a problem because we have a lot of drivers, like Uber drivers, and
Yes.
even worse, commercial drivers who drive big old semi trucks, and they don't. There's so much corruption in California and in other places too that issue those DSL driver's license, and people don't really qualify. And every so often, actually more often than I would like to, I hear about accidents when illegal alien or somebody who did not really pass but was given the license get in a car wreck and they kill
Yes.
people. So because they don't know how to drive in third world holes,
No.
and they come here and they're not about to relearn. So and then plus English, they don't speak English. They probably don't know how to read the signs and to communicate with public. So when I hear some morons say diversity is our strength, kiss my okay, diversity is not your strength. If you live in a country when you don't understand your neighbor, this is not your freaking strength. Okay, this is not your strength.
Okay,
They
okay,
should
but
learn our language. You think?
I'll just point out though that I can understand though. Look, even if we look at TV shows as old as the Texas Ranger, right? It used to be the people that came to this country not really all that long ago understood. They just generally seem to have more common sense and more street smart. We respected each other better. So I think we can learn from one another, but again,
Ladies and gentlemen, please stay with us. We'll be right back.
I told you we were lost.
Hello? Gonna have to reset this leg, my young friend.
Where's Mateo?
He never came, they never showed up.
We're happy to help people like you, but it isn't safe to be out there wandering.
I see you two enjoyed our world-famous ribs.
How many times have I told you, kids? No cartoons after sundown.
I don't know what kind of sick fucking games you two are playing down here. Carol and I really liked you two.
All right, did that freak anybody out?
Oh my
that
gosh.
No, it
that is the
didn't.
teaser
But
trailer for our new
Horror
film called Baby Backs.
Yes.
yeah, you sent it, Gina, to us. But it's just a trailer. I thought we'd get the chance to see the whole thing, or like, how does it-
No,
No. We can't just let everybody watch it because we're trying to sell it.
Well, I know, but we're not gonna
Personally,
buy it. I can guarantee I'm not gonna buy it.
What is this about? Excuse me.
It's
So,
some
you know,
horror movie or something.
Lori, you know that Gino and I are filmmakers, right?
Right.
Yeah, well, so on this commercial break that we just had, we played the trailer for our new film. It's a horror suspense movie called Baby Backs.
Oh.
And so that stuff you heard during the commercial break, that was the audio of the trailer.
Okay.
Very well done.
Anya was just commenting that she thought her and her husband, Robert, who are like Robert and her are part of our team, she thought they would get a sneak peek at the whole film.
Well, I don't think Robert actually saw it yet, because we got it just Gina texted last week, and we had a state convention, and we were out in the bathroom.
yeah.
I know it takes them a few seconds, but I don't think we got to it yet.
Okay.
So I was just curious, like, this is just a little sneak peek, but
no, it's a feature-length film. That's just a teaser trailer.
Yeah, the film is like an hour and a half, 2 hours long. Like,
Well, I'd
I
like
see.
to
movie.
Is it going to be in the movie theater?
Well, that's the goal.
As a connoisseur of horror and suspense, I like the dark humor in it.
Good.
Oh, do you like the sound? You like you like the trailer?
No, I really, really like the
I
part
didn't even
where-
understand the trailer. I don't know.
Yeah,
I like
I
the part
didn't
where
hear
they
the
say
trailer.
something
So,
about you gotta
Gino,
try
could
our
you
world-famous
describe?
baby back.
Gino, could you describe for the blind viewers what the trailer looks like?
I mean,
Maybe-
it's really the whole problem about trying to audio describe a trailer.
Yeah.
Trailers are meant to grab attention visually and with audio, and it's impossible to have a narrator describing with how rapid the cuts are.
Because it's only a 70-second trailer.
Right, but he's
45,
asking you to
45
just know what it says, like
Well,
what it
45.
shows.
Right. Well, that's what I'm telling you is it would take me a very long time to sit here and take over the show to describe shot by shot what you're seeing.
Oh.
There's a lot of blood. There's a lot of, just there's a lot of characters.
So, Ted, maybe can you describe what some of the
Let me
sounds
just tell
like?
you let me just briefly, and then I'll let you guys get back to the show. I'll briefly just tell you what the film is about. And it's
Okay,
about
that sounds cool.
It is about two young lovers from Mexico who are on the run. One of them gets hurt, and they go and try to find help with what appears to be a kindly older couple who are supposedly migrant friendly, and I'll just leave it at that everything kind of goes sideways by the end.
Well, so this is something that's complete, correct? Y'all done?
Oh, it
Yeah,
is
the film
complete.
is-
Yes.
Yeah.
How
the film is
long?
done.
And we don't have to, I don't know if we want to talk about this the whole show, but how long did it take for y'all to work on this? How long have y'all been working on this?
So Halloween was the year mark. Started writing it with my co-writer. I think, Becca, when did we start talking about doing it? In August?
Yeah, August of 24, I think.
So just over a year.
Oh my goodness.
From script to
Oh.
screen, and now we're just engaging our other producer, Tara, we're working on getting it in front of sales agents and distribution companies, and then submitting it to film festivals. So this is why we can't show it to anybody, because
Oh, I understand.
But how
you
did you
gotta-
do with the blind? Not blind view. Oh my gosh, what am I saying? The Don't Look Now.
how do we what?
But you guys played it without. You haven't sold it though. Don't Look Now.
No, Don't Look Now wasn't something we were trying to sell. We were trying to raise money and get people to invest in that we could get a full season of the show. It was a proof of concept for a TV series. So that's very different. This is a complete film. So
Yeah, this is
it's
the whole
a totally
story.
different. Yeah, there's a totally different process in what we're doing with this.
And this is like a finished thing, right? It's a whole story from beginning to end. Where Don't Look Now is just the pilot, the first episode in a whole season. Like we wrote the whole season, the whole first season for Don't Look Now, right?
I hear a cat meow.
We just produced the first episode as the, like he said, the proof of concept. Yeah, is that Bodhi, Gino?
No, Bodhi doesn't really talk much. He's asleep right now. He's very sick.
I thought I heard a cat meow.
I didn't hear a
Let
cat
me remove myself so you guys can get back to
Okay.
what Brandon was talking about.
Okay.
Thank
you.
No, I
Well,
mean
thank you.
it was relevant to the ad. That's why we were asking you. Yeah.
So I hope Gino answered you guys' questions about our feature film Baby Backs then.
Well,
Yeah, thank you.
congratulations. Congratulations
Yes,
to you both.
congratulations.
Well, thank
That's
you guys.
awesome.
Yeah, I really enjoy working with Gino, and we've been making some really awesome projects. Produced a couple, some of them are just scripts right now, but we hope to produce them at some point too. So
Well, cool.
Well, good for you both. I mean, I genuinely mean that. Congratulations. That's awesome.
Thank
Y'all-
you.
That's
y'all-
wonderful.
And such
Thank
a quick,
you. Thank you, Paul.
from script to
A finished product. Yeah, just over a
really
year.
really a fast time, I think. So congratulations to you
Yes.
both.
Well, I have to tell you, Gino is the first person I've ever done this with, but Gino is a consummate professional, and he's surrounded himself with other professionals who know what they're doing. And so with each one of our projects, we're doing, not just the time that we're getting it done in, we're like, I think we're breaking records with how quickly we're getting stuff done, but
Yeah.
the quality that we're producing is amazing, and the budgets we're doing it under are amazing too. Gino and I have a really good team working with us on some of you guys have seen Don't Look Now, and now you guys hopefully will get to watch Baby Backs at some point. Right now, like we said, we're not going to show it to anybody right now because we're looking to sell this one. So
Sure.
I wasn't able to see Don't Look Now. Is there a way to view that?
what?
I wasn't able to see Don't Look Now.
Oh, you haven't
Mhm.
seen Don't Look Now? Well,
No.
so the reason you didn't see it, Lori, is because when we screened it at the NFB meeting or the NFB convention in Orlando,
Uh-huh.
Florida, a few years ago, the NFB refused to let us put it in the agenda. So nobody at the convention even knew we were screening
Oh.
it. So we just were able to do word of mouth and invite some people. So we had, I don't know, a few dozen people at the screening when we screened Don't Look Now in Orlando, but not nearly the number of people we would have liked to have had the
Right.
NFB allowed us to put it in the agenda so everybody knew.
Do
You know,
you
it
know-
Why did you put it on the agenda? That's not
Well,
fair.
Well, the NFB just doesn't support us, we're doing what I guess they couldn't do. We are putting blind actors and actresses in TV and movies, and it frustrates me because the very month that Gino and I opened
Yes.
our company, that's the month that the NFB started their Let Us Play Us campaign. It was all over Facebook, you guys. And so Gino and I decided we're going to do that. We're going to use blind actors and actresses in our projects wherever we can. And so we've been doing that. And the NFB's been spitting in our face, kicking dirt in our face.
Oh,
They are
no.
absolutely refusing to support us or participate with us. And that's
That's
why
sad.
that's why you never heard about it when you went to the convention that year, because the NFB refuses to help us promote it or even talk about it. The NFB, they're a bunch of losers.
Try
And
the
that,
UTP.
and that right there is the reason why Becca and I both, I feel like, have somewhat distanced ourselves, let's say, from the National Federation of the Blind. It's not that I have outright blackballed them, but yeah, I feel like I was uh, unfairly represented by them as well, and there were fallacious things said about me. But it was in my case, it was kind of a, I fought back and they shut up, and so did I. So yeah, the one thing that I learned, and probably you as well, Becca, that might be a commonality between the two of us, is that at the upper echelons of the NFB, they're very, very, very liberal. I might even say radically liberal, but very liberal, and
And
I'm
they're also very narrow-minded. Like I said,
Yes.
the thing they put out said, "Let us play us." They wanted to filmmakers to use blind actors and actresses to play blind characters. Well, Gino and I went a step above that. We not only used blind actors and actresses to play blind roles, but we also put blind actors and actresses in sighted roles because we believe that blind people are capable of anything. And Mark
Correct.
Riccobono doesn't actually believe that. And
Oh,
that's why
wow.
his organization put out that lame challenge to the industry in 2019. Let us play us. He should have said, let us play all parts, because as blind actors and actresses, we are capable. And as
Yes.
blind people, we are capable. We all know that,
Correct.
right? And I was really frustrated by
I can
Mark
understand that.
Riccobono's lack of sight, right? His lack of perspective. Mark Riccobono thinks inside of a little box. And that's why I just feel like the Federation is like spinning their wheels. They could be doing so much more if they had better leadership at the top.
I'm so sorry to hear that, Becca.
Yeah. So I've been a member of the Federation for like 10 years now, right? And I just haven't seen them do much. So
I will say one thing: if the NFB won't promote it, maybe the ACB would.
I know, and I've been trying to connect with the ACB. I need to call. I mean, I have the number for the gal here that runs the local ACB.
Yeah.
But I've been so busy, I haven't been able to
It was
participate
just
in
a
any of their
thought.
events. Oh, it's a good thought, Lori, and that's something we're working on. Honestly, I think maybe this next July we might be able to take it to the ACB convention, because we're definitely not going back to the NFB convention this year.
I think it's in St. Louis next year.
Yeah, we've been shit on too many times by the NFB.
I'm so sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
And isn't that sad? Isn't that
Yeah.
sad?
It is sad.
Because
It
I
is. It's
agree with
very
what Becca said. It's very, very hypocritical. You read a
Yeah.
lot of their literature. You read the mission statement. You read the
Mhm.
1 minute message, and it just doesn't seem to line up. For example, to pivot just a little bit, this is now, unfortunately, the longest full federal government shutdown in the nation. And it's like, Mark, President Riccobono, why aren't you trying to do more for blind people?
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
Well,
we
they are
hear about,
doing something. I mean, they are sending people to Washington. They are trying to deal with the Department of Ed. I'm not saying I agree with what they are doing, but I'm just saying that they are doing something, or they're trying to do something.
I don't. I don't want to probably say too much, because I know there's some of you that might be really involved in it, and I know some people's opinions on it. But what I will say is, you still have the numbers of 70 to 80% of people unemployed that are blind and visually impaired. And of course, there's multiple reasons for why that can be the case. Some may have other issues, but where I'll give NFB credit for is that they have made things accessible. Like I think they was very responsible for Redbox being accessible. I don't even know if that's a thing anymore. And they was responsible for making a lot of the iPhone apps accessible. Now, the way they went about it, I can't say that I kind of agree with the way they go about things, but I do think that they've certainly made a lot of things accessible that maybe wasn't in the past. But what I will say is the big thing that I think as blind people we tackle as an obstacle, or the one thing that I think they should work a lot harder on, is helping blind people find employment. And that's something that I have never really seen them do. What I see as someone who's been to NFB state conventions is, if you're a part of their thinking, if you align with what they think, you'll be accepted. But as soon as you don't, or as soon as you're not, then you're not. And to me, that is something that frustrates me, and is a reason why I've never been a part of that organization.
I attest to the second part. It's not unique to the NFB though. If people see that you're not like sharing their view, if you just step of the line, out of line, they try to alienate you. But as for the employment, I have to say though, every year at national convention they do have career fair. So
Yes,
you
they
can
do.
set up
Yeah, I do think that's good.
yeah, so I mean they do
I
try
think it's
to
good
help people
too.
find employment, and there is employment committee. So they do run a podcast. I think it's a podcast or like whatever you want to call it. It's called With the Blind Work. I think it's every so often they do it, and they invite people from different fields. So
They have
they,
one just today called Where the Blind Work, Arts and Entertainment. It literally just dropped today.
Has anybody ever done anything to try to find out how many blind people actually get jobs through the career fair?
I would love to
Everyone
know that
at
information.
the convention. I've been to that career fair and I walked
have
through it, and
too.
there are a lot of businesses there.
There are.
And I've talked to some of them, but I just don't know how many of them really hire people, because the people at the convention are from all over the country. I mean, and some of those, I'm sorry, my computer's reading an email to me. So I just don't know how, how really, you know what I mean? I guess.
yeah, I'm sure there is. I'm sure they do keep track of it, just for their own, records, how
Yes.
successful they are, like to measure their success. I don't know those statistics, but I'm sure they have that to show
So
how many people got employed.
I beg your pardon. Excuse me. So to your point, yes, you are absolutely right, Anya, and others, that NFB does have a career fair. You're absolutely right. I think they do it on a state level as well as a national
They
level. I
do.
want to say correct. Someone back me up on that if I'm correct. But what I will say is I went to a career fair with them about 10 years ago when I was here in California. And, being that I wasn't an NFB member, they wanted me to pay $20. So I did
Membership,
it.
like
I
dues.
did it.
Uh-huh.
Go ahead.
No, I was just clarifying. Did you say like dues to pay dues to become a member?
No, just to be at the career fair, they wanted me to pay
Oh,
$20 because I wasn't an NFB member.
Oh, I see.
So I did it because I thought it might be helpful for me to be at that fair, just in case there was some useful information. And I did talk to people, but the jobs that I have found, I did not find from them at all. So I understand what you're saying, and I do agree that they do try to promote jobs, but still, there's a depending on the literature you look at, there's 70-80% of people that are blind or visually impaired that are still without. And I think that number should be lower. And so I think the number should be lower. And I think, with a lot of these organizations, I could never probably be a NFB member because, my views and opinions on things are so different than theirs. And I would never fit in. And I don't think they would want me to be.
I thought they promote and support diversity, equity, and inclusion.
Okay.
No,
yeah,
they
guys.
don't.
So, Lori wants to report on something called V-Rate that takes place here in Arizona. I've been to V-Rate once or twice, and it may have been started by the NFB. I'm not sure, or it may have been started by Savvy Services for the Blind here in Phoenix. But Lori,
Yes.
would you like to tell us about V-Rate, what V-Rate is and stuff?
V-Rate is Vision Rehab Technology Expo. And we have it once a year. And this year is going to be at the Ability 360 on Washington Street from 8 to 5 on November 14th.
Oh,
And
great.
you need to register online in order to attend.
Where do
It
they
is
go
free.
online to register?
You would go to vrate.gov or
Is it .com? Do you know?
yeah, I think it's .com. So
Okay. Thanks, Lori.
so
Is there a cost to go to V-Rate, or do you just have
it's
to register?
free.
Oh, good. I think I want to go because I think I went to that when I was in Savvy years ago, and I haven't been back, but I wanted to go again. So,
Well, of course, it's in the Ability 360 this year. It's at the
yeah,
Glendale Stadium, so it's a lot
yeah.
larger area.
Yeah. Speaking of Ability 360, no, I've been going to some of the events at Ability 360 through this other group called it's BIAAZ. It stands for Brain Injury Association of Arizona. And I just want to mention this to our viewers. It's a great resource if you live in Arizona and if you have a brain injury or a loved one has a brain injury. They have a lot of good support there. So if you go to their website, like, and if you look at their calendar, like they've got a monthly game night, they've got like in-person support groups, they have virtual support groups. This Friday at 1:00, they have a virtual thing that I'm going to be attending called Brain Injury Basics, which kind of helps you figure out how to start recovering when you have a brain injury. And I'm going to go just because even though my brain injury is 36 years old, um, I feel like I can always learn something, right? And I like talking to brain injury professionals to see what they might be working on, or what they might be learning about.
Well, that's cool.
Well, thank you, Lori and Becca, for the information. I'm sure our viewers will appreciate that. So thank you both very much.
Yeah.
I'll also point out that I would also recommend that if you've got the time, stopping by V-Rate. I've been multiple times, and I absolutely do think that it's worth it. So you get to hear from a lot of different presenters and see a lot of equipment at the state level. So you probably could avail yourself of it.
Brandon, can you repeat that? I couldn't understand most of what you said.
I also would recommend, if you've got the time, going to V-Rate because you get to hear from a lot of different people, and you get to see a lot of devices that are probably available right here in Arizona that you can get your hands on.
Yeah. V-Rate is a really great a good place to go if you are disabled and looking for resources and stuff. So ladies and gentlemen, please stay with us. We'll be right back.
Why don't they have blind people sections at sporting events? Why do I gotta pay the same price to not see shit? Okay? The Jumbotron ain't even built for me.
I am the business manager here at the Visually Impaired School of Arizona.
I see you brought the film crew. Make sure you get my good side.
All right, settle down and get focused on your tasks.
I teach the art of cuisine, child.
You wanna know the problem? The biggest problem in the blind community is you sighted people.
Just take a look over here.
Yeah, I don't know where that is, man.
Okay, you all need to turn off those cameras and just leave the building.
Wait, Joe, hold on.
Oh, on your right.
You're on the right.
How would you know that the men you're dating are black?
No, this is not card member services. This is the Visually Impaired School of Arizona.
Sushi, where are his pants?
I don't know.
Billy doesn't work here. He basically came with the building.
I can be the very first mayor of Blind Sylvania.
Make Blind America great again.
There goes my pie.
This happens every day?
No,
Sometimes.
of course not.
I can't. That's just such a good show. Okay, is everybody still with us?
Yes, I was worried for a minute.
Yeah. So Lori, since you live right here in Phoenix, and since you haven't seen Don't Look Now yet, Gino and I can probably arrange a special screening for you, okay?
Well, that's sweet. So I'll look forward to that.
Well, and does anybody else feel like me that since Donald Trump is back in America now, he needs to start focusing on Main Street?
Oh, yes. Main Street, America.
I saw him give a speech today, and it was kind of, in my opinion, mixed because he mentioned ending the 8 wars. And I mean, that's great, that's fine. But I just think, man, what we saw yesterday does not portend well for the GOP. And it's like, okay, Trump, I don't really care about Vietnam and Japan and Korea and Egypt and all these other countries. I do care about them, but not as much as I care about America. You're supposed to be America first.
Yeah, make America great again, right?
You know what makes me so angry, and I think it's so ironic that all those wars that United States fought in the past, fighting communism, the spread of communism in Vietnam, Iraq,
Hmm.
Soviet Union, Cold War. I mean, we didn't have direct fight, but like all these small countries, stationing the troops and doing all this work, what preventing communists from spreading, while in their own backyard communism was growing and thriving. And now we see that in the biggest city, the world's capital, we see.
Excuse me. Pardon me. Having been to a communistic country as a teenager for health reasons. I can see that it did not work, and so I think it's a bad idea.
Which country did you go to?
I went to Russia.
Oh, you did?
What procedure
Yes.
did you have, Lori?
I had shots in my upper hip and my eye at the Helmholtz Eye Institute to help my vision. My grandmother found out about it, and she took me there at my grandparents' own cost.
Wow.
Oh wow.
Where in Russia did you go to? In what
We
year?
went to Moscow.
Oh wow.
And what
From
year?
1983 to 1988, and it did help me, and I was able to see longer, so
How,
I could
how
see
many
things in
times?
front.
How many times did you go to Russia during 83, between 83 and
I
88?
went 6 times. We could only go once a
Oh
year.
wow.
So, but it did
That must
assist
have been
my eyes, and I
expensive.
could see all the way until I was 29, thanks to what my grandparents were able to do for me.
Oh, that's nice.
Wow, you never mentioned that. That's interesting.
That is interesting. Thank you
Okay,
for that.
okay, but I've never spoke out against Russia. I can understand why they're so frustrated. However, there are vast differences between a place like Russia as compared with China or North Korea or Iran.
Uh-huh.
Yes. Yes, of course it's different. And Russia is not the same Russia that was back then,
Oh
obviously.
no, of course not. But when you knew that the air was not free, and you could see the hardships that the common people went through under communism, it was quite challenging for them.
Yeah, my sister was adopted from Russia, and my mom went to adopt her. And I don't recall which
Oh.
part of Russia, but this was '92, and
That was after communism then.
yeah, but that don't mean it was over.
No,
By
it
that I
wasn't.
Yeah.
mean just because it was after
No.
communism, there was still a lot of those people
And that
there.
wasn't very long after what was it called? The Iron Curtain fell.
That's right.
You know, that was just a couple years after. So it was probably, yeah. There's probably
No.
gone through a lot of changes back
Wait,
then.
what? The curtain fell in 1991.
Right, my
That's
sister was
Oh.
born in '92.
Oh, okay. I was still. Oh, sorry. I must have spaced out because I thought we were still talking about Lori's
That's okay.
visit to Russia. Yeah. You did
No,
mention that your sister was adopted too, but she probably doesn't remember anything, right?
No, but my point in all that was that yes, communism was gone at that point, but a lot of the culture of communism, staying quiet,
Was
not
probably
speaking,
still
was still
prevalent.
very prevalent. Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
And it was much the same way when they adopted my two brothers from Romania. Communism, the dictator, which I'm blanking on, had passed away in '89, and they went about 6 months after. But just because he was gone, there was still very high people in power who still wanted communism to be a thing, and the secret police and all that was still a thing when they were
Yes.
there. So, and it might have even been something in Russia as well. So,
It probably was, yes.
so
Well,
I really
but
appreciate your story because it was very interesting.
To Anya's point, though, I do feel also like we have a lot of covert rogue agents even in government. Like Ilhan Omar and Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and people like that are really anti-American.
Yeah, and it makes you gotta wonder how they made it into the Congress with those thoughts. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Being anti-American. I don't understand how they could be elected to such a high office here. And Mondami too. It shocked me yesterday to see a socialist elected to office in the United States.
Yeah, and again, I saw on Facebook today that that's again signals to the poorest level of education that we have in this country. I'm not gonna say the name, obviously, because we're on air, and I don't want to, single anybody out. But there is a person. She's in law school. I know that. We're not really friends. I don't know her like that, but I know she's in law school. And she's pretty well involved with the NFB. But she writes something like, "Oh, so that's great." No. So somebody else said, "Oh, it was a great day for democracy," and somebody else asks, "Why?" So because your side won. So if the other side won, you would say that democracy didn't work. So like, wow, good question. But no, she responds, no, democracy works because this time we elected people who actually care, and they won't be threatened about going hungry. And I was like, oh yeah, of course they care. And of course nobody's gonna go hungry, because under socialism nobody ever goes hungry, right?
Oh, yes, they do.
I know, and then I'm thinking like, this is a law student who says stuff like that, but in her head it doesn't compute. She just does not draw parallels. She does not.
Meanwhile, I'll just point out that when Winsome Earl Sears asked Spanberger about, how would you feel and what would you do if, your teenage daughter was in the locker room and a transgender male came in and exposed his genitalia to her and she come home crying, what would you do about that? Spanberger didn't say a word, lady. Didn't say a single word.
Well, she actually did. She gave some word salad that Matt Walsh read verbatim, and it sounded so ridiculous. Like, I mean, she didn't even complete a single sentence. It was literally, word salad.
Oh, what I saw was when Winston said, "Are you not going to respond at all?" And then it was like ding ding ding, like the time for response had expired.
Oh, you must have seen a different clip then. What I was thinking of when she just went blah 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 blah, and then it was just hilarious. I mean, they don't want to say anything openly, but they don't want to anger to angry their base, so they just don't know which way to go, and that's why they say nonsense when they're put on a spot.
Well, that's I wish New Jersey and Virginia well. So don't complain though.
I mean, a good way to look at it. Again, good. I don't want. This is kind of an overstated use of the word good, but still, let's say the bright light is in a sense that it's heavily Democrat cities that they've been Democrat. So basically, one set of Democrats was replaced by another set of Democrats. That's what some people say. I say, yeah, it's true, but I think we got some worse. In some cases, with Mandani case, it's even worse. But technically, yeah, one set got replaced by another.
I mean, but does anybody like me though kind of feel like? Again, I'm a little upset with President Trump right now though, because like in the beginning of the year, right, 2025, we had a lot of optimism, right? But that doesn't mean that I forgot what we went through when Joe Biden was the installed president. And I'm just really concerned that, man, if we go back, I mean, we're just kind of sort of starting to turn things around. I don't know. I just don't think yesterday's results portend well.
Well, I still don't understand. Why are you upset with Trump?
So he's upset because in yesterday's results, like the Democrats, it was a sweep. They took they won the gubernatorial races in two states. And so he's just concerned that it looks like the people are in favor of the Democrats, and he's wishing Trump was doing stuff to make people love Trump. I still believe in Trump. Like things aren't always peachy, right? Like he's working on making things better for us, but it's not, you know what I mean? Like I said on previous shows, Biden dug us into a deep pit. It's going to take Trump a while to get us out of it.
But I mean, I don't
where
understand.
was Mark Riccobono though when old people on Social Security get breaks and blind people don't? Where were you, Mark Riccobono?
Yeah.
Yeah, I still don't know, like, what you upset about with Trump about, because he's not gonna. The left is so like they all contracted this mind virus called
TDS, Trump
TDS,
derangement
yeah.
syndrome.
So no matter what Trump does, it's not gonna do any better. And the media and Democrats kept firing up the base like all this time, all this "No King" protest and all this shit. So of course they went and voted for all Democrats because the hatred against Trump has been fostering.
But I think, I don't want to speak for you, Brandon, but I think what Brandon is kind of saying is we're seeing him a lot in Asia and a lot in other places. We're not seeing him as much as we would want to see him here, I think is what, Brandon, you're trying to say.
Exactly. And, I know people where gas is now going up again. Groceries are now going up again. Rent keeps climbing higher and higher and higher and higher and higher.
Yeah,
and
Trump
it's like,
really
okay,
needs
Trump,
to
you're back
focus.
home now. Stay at home now. Do some work for America now, Mr. President.
Well, I think he goes around it and tries to make deals. But what I don't understand is, I think he called attention to it this weekend about Christians being persecuted in Nigeria, and he said like you're gonna stop receiving our aid if you don't stop persecution of the Christians, because they're killing Christians over there. And like my question is, why the hell we are still giving foreign aid to freaking Nigeria? Why?
Well,
We're
and I also do,
Uh-huh.
and I also do like that we're blowing up boats that are trying to bring drugs into this country. So
Well,
I'm not
that's a good
black
thing.
pilled. Don't think that I'm black pilled. I think things can get better. I just hope they do.
So there's a big problem with Trump blowing up the drug boats, guys. Can I tell you what the big problem is?
Let's hear it.
I love Trump. I voted for Trump 3 times, but there's a big problem with them blowing up these drug boats because the people on the boats are not being given a fair trial before sentence is carried out.
Buck, are you kidding me? Buck, are you kidding me? These people are criminals who are coming from a different country. We don't owe them anything. We don't owe them any goddamn trial. We don't. We are a different country. Why should we be giving trial to somebody?
You guys remember when Obama was in office? And do you remember when they caught Osama bin Laden? Do you remember what Obama did with Osama bin Laden? He didn't put him on trial like they did with Saddam Hussein, so the people of the world could see him, persecuted and to stand trial for his crimes and stuff. What did Obama do? They threw him off a ship. So nobody ever got to see if it was really him. Nobody ever got to see him stand trial for all his crimes against humanity. And I like that's the way our justice system works, that people are supposed to stand trial. You know what I mean? So that
But to me, that's just like saying that we shouldn't be deporting illegal aliens because they're not doing anything wrong. The fact that they're here illegally is what's wrong.
Yeah. I know, and I don't think they just kind of dreamed up. Okay, let's blow up this boat and call it, drug cartel or something. No, I'm sure that they have their investigation. They know who's come. They know which boat to blow. And Venezuela's kind of, they know that they're guilty. They're scared of it.
I guess that legally and technically we don't owe these people a fair trial because they're not citizens, but I believe morally we have a responsibility to not just freaking blow boats out of the water with people on them. Like we should pull
what do you want them to do?
Well, I don't know, but I mean,
you want them to be brought here? You want to pay for all the legal fees?
On the one hand, when Trump blew up the first boat, I was like, "Wow, that's amazing," But the more he kept doing it, the more I was thinking, "Gosh, this isn't looking too good," because I feel like these people, like everybody says. How do people really know who's on those boats, right?
Well, first of all, he's not the first president.
There could be innocent children on the boat as well as the drug dealers, right? Or they could have captives that are innocent people on the boat with them, right? And they die too when those boats are blown up. And my point is, that's why in America we have the whole trial thing and stuff, right?
Call me naive, but I believe Pete Hegseth and Kash Patel. I in this regard, in this case,
You think so?
So what I'm saying is, so how about this, Becca? I mean, I understand. I think what you're saying, and so I would be okay. I'd be fine if they wanted to release video, because they claim they have the videos, right? They claim we know who these people are. There's no doubt. There's no doubt. We know who they are. So it's like, okay, if you wanted to release those videos, I mean, we'll just be looking at human refuse, bringing poison and death into our country. But I mean, okay.
Yeah, and plus to that, like everybody's acting like Trump is the first president who do something like that, you know.
Yeah, and like I said, I remember Obama did it too with Osama bin Laden, and I'm sure other presidents have done it too. All I'm saying is that I understand what the left means when they say Trump shouldn't be blowing these boats out of the water.
But we can't take everybody from the whole world who means harm to the United States, bring them in here and put them on trial. We just can't do that.
I know, but I wish there was a way to maybe on the other end before the boats take off, maybe go aboard those boats and see, like, if they're drugs, then arrest them there before they take off to come to America. I don't know. It just like I said, as someone who has been wronged by the judicial system, I'm looking at it from the point of view of the victims, right? The victims who might not really be guilty. And I like I said, when Obama did it to Osama bin Laden, I had grave concerns about that. I saw that as a huge problem. And here Trump is doing it. Like I said, I just feel like he needs to, you know what I mean? Like,
I think they have enough information to execute that. I don't think they would be
I
doing
do too. I believe in our Department of War. Yeah.
Somebody here just said that they should release that information then, and I agree. Let's see the information then. If they have
I agree with that. I agree with that.
I want to see, maybe not the evidence, but I want them to say, this is how we gather the evidence to know that these particular boats have drugs on them, and that the people on the boat are intending to bring the drugs into the United States, right?
I agree. I agree with that.
Right.
Yeah, but what do you want them to show? Like a package of,
whatever intelligence. I'd like to see whatever intelligence led them to decide that boat A needed to be blown out of the water. You know.
Well, that's why intelligence is intelligence.
They're not me, but I think it should be released to the public more. You know, because as an American citizen, like I said, I've been getting a little concerned because, you know, I was wronged by the judicial system. I wasn't given a fair trial. And like I said, these people, none of them are being given fair trials either. And they are human beings. So morally,
I'm not concerned. They're human refugees from another country committing criminal activities, intending to commit criminal activities. I'm not. You know what? You know what? Don't look like a drug dealer then. Okay?
Yeah.
You're not a fishing boat. You're not. You don't look like a fishing.
Honestly, they are going to have to do things.
You don't act like a fishing boat.
They obviously are going to have to do things to disguise themselves better if this continues. You know what I mean? If they plan on.
Yes.
I hope they don't disguise themselves better, so we can blow up their asses into oblivion. So it will be a good lesson for somebody who plans to do this next.
I would think that Venezuela would learn by now.
I wonder if we stiffened the consequences for drug dealers here in the United States. Like, if you get caught selling drugs to American children, you get sentenced to death. It would cut down on the problem, and then these boats would be bringing drugs.
I would absolutely consider that. Wow.
If there were no drug dealers on the shore waiting to collect the drugs from the boat because they were too scared to sell drugs because we had the death penalty for drug dealing here. Yeah. I've heard other countries have that. And I think it should be considered here.
Well, and you qualify if they're selling to minors. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, these drug dealers, you know, think about how many deaths they have on their hands. Yeah. You know what I mean? And they're just as guilty as any murderer. You know?
True.
So, like...
Well...
I think that might be a better way to attack it. Just like I said, go after the drug dealers on shore instead of the ones, you know what I mean, that you can't really identify so well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
I understand what.
I think the people, you know, the drug dealers say we sell it to you in America because you guys want it, and I think the people, you know, it needs to be a multi-pronged solution, right? But the people who are addicted and stuff, they're just going to have to realize, like, no, we're shutting it down, we're cutting it off.
Yeah.
You're not going to be able to get it. You're going to have
Yeah,
to go
and you
through
know,
a program.
the addicts will go through withdrawals, but they'll get over it. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you guys, I mean, I don't know why we're not here. The hour has been over. We're not hearing end music.
Okay.
I don't know why, but I'm starving. I'm gonna have
I
to
see
wrap
what
up.
Yeah, so let's end the show. Ladies and gentlemen, join us next week for another exciting episode of The Pod of You right here.
Absolutely. Good night, everyone.
Thank you, everybody. Good night.
Good night.
Thank you for watching Becca's World. Please like, share, and subscribe to my channel.